Alright, in my shop I've got my 30-inch Covington saw. It is a dandy saw, it cuts well. However, I've discovered a problem with it. On the edge of the saw, there's a gap. Front to back, both sides, and the front. It's actually a little worse looking now than it normally is. So I decided to come up with a fix for it. Okay. Inside the saw, here's another little addition somebody put on. So how do we close a gap? When you look at the top, there's a flange up here. You can see from here to here, it's a little dark, but there's a flange. When you go down to the base, there's no flange. So consequently, the mist from the oil just comes up and out and floats all over the garage, getting everything contaminated with good mineral oil. So what I have done on the other side, I took a little 1x1 or thereabouts, put a little rubber seal on it, nailed the rubber seal in several locations. 4 bolts hold the piece of wood to it, and I'm hoping that cures my problem. I'm going to do that on both sides and the front. Now when I get to the front of the saw, we had to trim away a little bit of the base due to the fact there wasn't much room here, so we had to put a little angle cut on the wood here. On the back, where the arbor is, I had to put a notch in there as well in the wood, but that's not a big deal. So there is my proposed fix, my 30-inch Covington saw to keep oil from misting all over my garage. The folks at Covington have come up with a couple things to help with this misting problem. On the back of my saw, there's a little bicycle type fender. It's not a bicycle fender, but reminiscent of one, and that helps keep some of the splashing down, but still that was not enough. And then as you look up, they've added a little piece of plastic. Sorry about the light. And that just hangs down and helps some of the splashing. Although that does help, it is certainly not a cure. You can see it just got a little piece of 1 by something or other. I just cut it, didn't measure, not a big deal. It is what it is. But it was large enough for me to put this rubber gasket material on. I have no idea how long this material is going to last, but it simply nails on. Picked it up from a local big box hardware store. Cost about $4 per roll, and I got enough to do it 3 times. It's not a big deal. Wood was free from an old project. Nails came with the, there it is right here. Nail-on store mat vinyl gasket ST-1M. Comes in different sizes, so pick out what you like. And place the piece of wood just a hair below the lip of the saw, of the case of the bottom saw. I got 1 clamp holding it on. I'm not getting real scientific about it, but take an $8,000 saw, nothing wrong with putting a little hole in it now on here and there. Simple little bolt and a nut. Nothing fancy. I ended up able to use 1 1/4. You might need longer, might need shorter. All depends what you do. No washer, just suck the nut into the wood. I'll put 3 more in here. I'm going to do the same along the front, and that's going to be it. Now here's the finished product. I got my 18-inch saw running next to it. This 18-inch HP is a dandy with a plexiglass top. I love that. We got some exposed belts here, not the safest thing in the world. But back to the Covington, I was working on that. You can kind of see the seal I got there and the bolts that are holding it on. The cover doesn't fit all that well on this machine. I'm kind of disappointed with that. On the front, I did have a little leakage problem there. The blade action was throwing the oil right to the front. It was still seeping out, so I put a little flapper on the inside. It's a little piece of material, bolted it on with 3 bolts. It actually runs a little quieter. It's sealed up. So There's a fix for a 30-inch Covington that throws oil all over your garage.